Welcome to Let's Grow Texas Ag, showcasing unique farm and ranch stories of the South Texas coastal plains. First-hand knowledge with special guests presented by our very own and well-known host, Joe Adams. Pull up a chair and enjoy as we share some of the heritage and insightful stories that have made us proud Texans. Let's Grow Texas Ag, sponsored by Shearer Kubota.
Hi folks, welcome to this edition of Let's Grow Texas Ag. Starting our second season, we got to give a big old thank you to lots of folks. But we're really excited to have Shearer Kubota out of Victoria joining hands with us for the second year of Let's Grow Texas Ag. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to dig a little deeper. We're going to find lots of neat folks to talk about, show you a lot of different operations. Tonight we're going to take a look in the rearview mirror. First up, we're going to sit and visit with Mr. Rodney Taylor again on a bunch of the stuff that we didn't have room to put in there on the first show. He's going to be talking about branding and the importance of all that kind of stuff. But here's one of the main things I want to ask you. When's the last time you saw a horny toad? Me and Mr. Rodney got into that. That's something we all grew up with when we was kids. Horny toads is everywhere. They ain't there no more. Y'all stay tuned for Mr. Rodney Taylor. Seen that big old red ant mound back here a while ago.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. We're getting more and more red ants.
You know, and there used to be a whole bunch of them years ago, and you could always, if you wanted to find a horny toad,
that's right, that's where you went.
You went to a red ant mound.
This country used to be covered with horny toads. We would catch those things.
Put a leash on, put a string on.
I'll tell you, it was unreal. But now I haven't seen a horny toad in 25, 30 years probably.
Well, I remember when we was kids, and they were very prehistoric looking.
Yes, yes. But there are a lot of red ants now. I don't understand why there's so many red ants. Of course, every spring I drag all these pastures. I got a big 30-foot drag that's got railroad rails, and then I got grader blades crisscrossed in it, and I drag all my pastures every spring before I put out fertilizer because, you know, we bounced over a few ant hills a while ago riding around, and those things get so big, it's hard to go out there and ride around, put out fertilizer or spray.
Are wild hogs a problem?
I've never had a hog over here anywhere.
You own some?
No, I got them at my house. Right now they are at my house.
I can help you.
No. I put cameras out Thursday because there's so many hogs coming right now and I can't figure out when they're coming. So I put out 2 cameras right there and I'm going to see if I can get some of them.
Well, it's, them things have just about taken over there.
And it's amazing that there aren't any over here. I don't understand that. But even as kids playing out here, there were never any hogs. And there weren't that many deer back then, but the deer came on later and later, and there's a lot more deer. The Anaplasmosis really did a job on the deer, and they worked on those in the 70s. So most of these cows will start calving in March. February and March is when they'll start calving.
Where do you brand on the right hip?
Yes, you see that rocking on. Some of the cattle aren't branded, most of them are, but yeah, on the right hip. That's where I had to get my brand registered because my brand is the Rockin' R, and there's so many other Rockin' R's that I had to pick a location, and the right hip is where I branded with the number right under it.
That's, you know, it's kind of amazing that you used to, everybody branded cattle.
Right.
And then a lot of ranchers even branded their calves.
Right.
And
when I had leased pastures north of Grenada with like 700, 800 acre pastures, I branded my calves.
Yeah.
I did.
And it's kind of amazing over the years, you see a lot of cattle that aren't branded.
Yes. A lot of cattle come through the ring that aren't branded.
Yeah. And so that's kind of an interesting deal because, you know, to me, that's one of the neat things about the cow business is that you put your brand on it.
Right.
And your brand is, we do a cowboy camp every year there at the museum, and we do a deal on branding, and we tell the kids, your brand is your signature.
That's right.
And so, you know,
we're fortunate. I'm fortunate I've never lost any cattle to theft, but there's a lot of that goes on, and there's been a few cases I've read of this year where there's a few cattle been stolen, but I've been very fortunate and never had any cattle stolen from any of my leased pastures or my pastures over here.
And, you know, last night I was talking to you. You were at the El Campo sale barn.
Right.
You were down there, and you know, there's a lot of effort. You bring that up. There's a lot of effort through sale barns to ensure that they aren't selling stolen cattle.
That's correct, because there's an inspector that goes through every single pen over there and inspects all the cattle that come to the ring. I know her well. And like yesterday, they had over 3,300 head of cattle sold. They sold late into the early morning, and she inspected every one of those cows that went through that ring.
And that's such a big part of sale barns, because that is, you know, it's kind of an interesting deal, because there's not a whole lot of markets that you can, a whole lot of venues that you can just take whatever you're raising and sell it anytime you want to, any day of the week.
That's right.
And the livestock commissions in our part of the world, which are, you know, it's a great deal. Everybody likes to go to the sale barn, and the sale barn cafe serves great hamburgers.
That's right.
You know, so I mean, it's always a great deal. But you know, there's so many head of cattle that go through our local sale barns that the job of a brand inspector is huge.
It is. It's a lot of work. They do it. You know, it's amazing how many cattle are going to market right now. Like there were over 500 slaughter cows went through the ring yesterday, and then with all the calves and heifers and stuff, but there's a lot of cattle going to market now, and I'm just wondering if these numbers are going to increase or if they're going to decrease in what we have in Texas in the local area. But there's been a lot of cattle going to market.
But those sale barns are such an important part of our cattle business in our part of the world.
That's right, because where would we go market our cattle? Not all of us have the means to go to other areas and do it, so we're very fortunate that we have a sale barn so close to be able to do it. We've got the one in Edna, we've got the one in El Campo. They both are doing well, so we're very fortunate.
Yeah, and you look between Cuero and Gonzales,
right,
and all that, we're within spitting distance of 4 or 5 good markets.
Right.
So that's a good deal. And I hope that we're going to, you know, we get a little bit more into this deal. We're going to do a deal on sale barns, because from an auctioneering standpoint, I love an auction, and I think that a sale barn auctioneer, that is an art form in itself.
Right.
All right, folks, don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back with Let's Grow Texas Ag. Welcome back to Let's Grow Texas Ag. Hey, everybody's been to the stock show, and I hope everybody's been to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, because that is the granddaddy of them all. And you walk through all those show cattle, and you see how gentle they are. They're just laying there like a bunch of couch potatoes. I can tell you one thing, it just don't happen. We're going to visit again with our good friend, Mr. Jim Williams in the V8 Ranch. He's going to show you about the effort and the time and the trouble it takes to make those cattle as gentle as they can be so they can go out to these stock shows. Y'all stay tuned for a little bit more conversation with Mr. Jim Williams.
And these are cattle in here that are just getting trained to be like those, to be good and gentle. They've been tied up about a week is all.
You know, Jim, you go to the people that go to like one of the stock shows and stuff and see all the cattle laid out there tied up. It just don't happen.
No, it doesn't.
There's a tremendous amount of work that goes into getting these cattle fit, get them ready to go to the show.
This is the most expensive thing we do right here, Bianca, because this takes a lot of labor. This feed is our most expensive production cost on this ranch is feed, to feed these cattle, these show cattle. And see, we've got here a young man, his dad works for the ranch. That young man is another intern from Indiana. His family raises registered Angus cattle. And then we've got another high school boy. Those two boys work for us. And the boy here closest to us, he's a college student at Texas Lutheran. He plays football up there. And they help us with these cattle. But see, they're brushed and trained. Those cattle don't get gentle like that without all this labor. Without all this labor. And if you think, man, they got a lot of people working for them, you're exactly right. When we pay that payroll every week, we're like, yikes.
Yeah.
And see, now this is an interesting concept too. Like on this heifer 907/9, that heifer is 9,979 female. We started the branding system on this ranch started in 1944, and it started at 1 for the males and 1 for the females. So that's the 9,907th female that was born on this ranch since 1944, and we have that same number on bulls, that a bull will have that number. So since then, we've had about 19,000 head of registered Brahmins on this ranch.
Wow.
19,000.
That's cool.
In however many years that is, a lot of years. But that's the ID number. If you were here looking for cattle and you said, the bull I like is that heifer number so-and-so, or I'd say, well, what's its number, Bianca? And you'd say 907/9. Well, I can pull that up on my phone so quick, or I can go over here in the deal and we'll give you, on all these cattle, we have a pedigree on them that goes back for 5 generations. We can usually tell you more about these cattle history than we can about ourselves. And we have books back from 1944. We could probably go back 30 generations on these cattle of their pedigree and ancestors.
That's amazing.
And it will have which cattle were sold and who bought them and how much they brought. Or if one was had to be slaughtered for inferior quality or bad disposition, we'll have that on that record. We write everything good or bad. Because what happens historically, you remember the good stuff, but you forget the bad. So we write on every cow's record the good and the bad. That's what we do.
And when it comes time to make a decision, you got it all right there in front of you.
Right there, we know them. That's right. That's right. That's right. Now see, these are just more that we're halter breaking. These are more that we're halter breaking.
How many head of cattle we all halter break a year?
Ooh-wee. Let me ask Jeff. He's gonna give you a roundabout. Jeff, how many head of cattle will we halter break a year?
I don't know if it's 100, but we ain't far from 100.
Oh yeah, at least 100. I'd say 100.
90 to 110.
Yeah,
Pretty close.
and I tell you, that's a big demand to halter break cattle now, because it's a very hard, the only way you can halter break cattle, and you would know this, you have to tie them up and do it. You can't talk them into halter breaking, and you can't halter break them down at the beer joint in the afternoon playing dominoes. You have to have hands on. And we would rather not halter break cattle ourselves for our customers, but that's the only way we can feel confident that we're going to get them halter broken right. Because what happens a lot of times, people will give them a tranquilizer and they come pick them up and they're really nice, and the next day when the thing wears off, the heifer wants to run over and kill them. So to have to try to keep the customer happy, we have to halter break them ourselves. And I always tell Jeff, people think I live at the Showborn, but I usually am over to Showborn before they get here because I'm driving through, or late in the evening because I'm doing all this other stuff. But I say, don't tell us one's gentle now and it isn't. If we say we need another 2 weeks, tell me that, because I don't want to misrepresent something. But it's one of it is, you have to work with it. You just don't get them gentle.
It just don't happen.
It just doesn't happen. That's right.
Them Brahmin cattle, they'll tell you real quick if you're spending time with them.
See, now once here too, I'm just telling you interesting things. If they don't have a halter on them, like these are what you call, they don't have a halter on them. They're so gentle, Bianca, that they've already been trained, and you can just go catch them like Joe was catch his horse.
Yeah.
You don't have to see those others have a chain halter, and they're getting the lesson. They're still learning. But like once you see it, like our customers who come, if they see an animal here without a halter on him, they know he's perfectly gentle, and you can do anything you want with him. But if they see one with that halter on him and they beat up in there Saturday afternoon when nobody's here, they know don't grab a hold of it because it's not halter broke. But like some of these people who have been here so many times through the years, they know our routine. Sometimes they don't even tell me they're coming. They just might stop through going from Mexico to Houston or somewhere. And I just say, write down the numbers, and we tell me what you like, make yourself at home.
All right, folks, don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back with Let's Grow Texas Ag. All right, folks, welcome back. You know one thing in common that everybody has that's been on this show? It's the land. Whether you're farming or you're ranching, or no matter what you're doing, you're hunting, whatever it is, you've got to be a good steward of the land. And as you can see by all the people that we've had the opportunity to interview this last year, the land is the common denominator, and they're going to take care of the land, just like so many people that make a living off the land or enjoy being on the land. They are the true stewards. So stay tuned for a little bit of an inside look to some of what these folks think about their land.
I can sit here, shoot, an hour and look at things or do paperwork under this tree and all these kids be up around here. Now that's living, you know? And you see the work of God's creation, what he's done, and what you hope is, talking about the future, you can leave it better for the next generation than you do for yourself, and be good stewards of the land.
You know, that's one of the key things is being steward of the land, and people that live this kind of lifestyle and are involved in the cattle industry or farming or whatever, you know, or hunting or whatever. Those are the people that take care of the land.
That's right. They
are good stewards.
You know, this land price and this land shortage, what it's done for my operation is we're trying to improve and improve and improve and squeeze more and more out of the land, because that's your only option. Like you said, you can't afford to go buy it and make a living off of it.
You know, one of my favorite things that I ever saw, that the best investment on earth is earth.
Being able to get up in the morning and look out of the house and look across your field, and you see that little plant coming up, and you see the green all the way across, and it's just
And you had a hand in it.
I think young people need to understand that agriculture and ranching offers a quality of life that they cannot have in the city. You know, to be able to work out of doors and enjoy the bounty of Mother Nature, to watch the cycle of life with livestock every year is just precious.
It's very well said, because it is.
It's just very precious. And I've worked in offices before, and I couldn't wait to get back to the country. And I would think that young people need to try working in agriculture and see if they don't get the bug.
You know, that's a very good thought. We're extremely pleased and very honored to have Shara Kubota joining up with us this year on Let's Grow Texas Ag. So a big old thank you to Brad and Calvin Shara. And if you get a chance, you see them down the road, go in there and do a little talking with them and tell them thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate them being with us. All right, folks, don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back with Let's Grow Texas Ag.
Maybe you know someone that should be highlighted on our program. Let us know. Submit your story ideas to crossroadstoday.com/ag.
Hi, folks. Welcome back. You know, at the beginning of a new year, we owe lots of thanks to lots of folks. All the fine folks that let us into their house, let us into their ranch, let us onto their farm to sit down and visit with their families, talk about all kinds of things involved in agriculture. We thank you very much for that. right, folks, next time on Let's Grow Texas Ag, we're going to be going over to the Cuero Livestock Market in Cuero. We're going to have a couple of interviews with some fine folks over there that have been around the DeWitt County all-breed bull and female sale for about 40 years. It's going to be a fun time. We'll see you next time on Let's Grow Texas Ag.
You've been watching Let's Grow Texas Ag. Special stories focused on the farmers, ranchers, and those who work in our agricultural industries in South Texas. Sponsored by Shearer Kubota. Visit our website for more information and program schedules. You can stream Let's Grow Texas Ag on Crossroads Today Plus, Zeme, or YouTube.